Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we're live on a Friday lunchtime, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with feelings. And today, the topic that I'm going to be talking about is the feelings that we get when people take advantage of us. Um, you know, I don't know about you, but it happens to me every now and then, and it certainly happened to one of our viewers. And that is the case study we're going to talk about in a moment. But before we do that, first of all, let me give you a quote around that. Because I don't know about you, it's just like, really, I get so fed up with this happening and this sort of being the reality for for some people. Sorry, the quote just isn't coming up properly. How about this one? Stop letting people take advantage of you. Sometimes people don't notice the things we do for them until we stop doing them. How about that? How many of you agree with that one? And by the way, I just wanted to make sure that you know, please follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at DearMamaSal. Just so that you can be updated on anything that we're doing. I'm inclined to put news about people or need for thoughts and prayers up on Facebook, and I put the warnings about the broadcast about to start on Facebook, Twitter, and obviously on YouTube. So make sure you're following here as well. Hi there to Jeannie, and good to see you, Jeannie, and also Jody. And for those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. And thank you for being here. Jeannie, yes, I hope that you have better luck this week. I know you've been having some problems with your phone. I don't know about you guys, but it is pretty chilly here. And you can probably see that I'm out of my tank tops and into long sleeves again uh, because it has been so cool. And it's part of my Be Prepared, Not Scared. And this is part of my Be Prepared for Fall outfit. There you go. And I know you guys like to know what I'm busy doing. But, I'm wearing it about 2 months earlier than I thought I would be. Hi, Charlotte and Kimmy. Good to see you both. And let's see how everybody's doing. I just wanted to find out whether, I'm the only one that has temperatures dropping like this. But boy, it's like, we went from really, as you know, heat waves to it is 70 degrees inside my house at the moment. That would be 21 in Canadian. It is just amazingly, it's just like, wow. Yeah. Oh, it's 15 in Moncton. So, wow, it's even cold. Well, I'm saying inside my house. The heat hasn't, well, the heat tried to kick in and I just had to sort of go, no, I'm not having the heat go in just yet. Just a quick waiver for those of you who might be new to the broadcast. I am not a therapist or psychologist or anything like that. The information you're going to hear from me is about stuff that I've either done some research on or else, due to the fact I've lived quite a while. It's been my experience. Yeah, Charlotte's saying it's sweatshirt weather. Yes, I totally agree with you. So, yeah, Kimmy's saying, how cold is it with you there, Kimmy? Kimmy's in Wyoming, I think. Um, Yeah, and Jeannie in Maine, which you would expect to be the cold part, is sitting in the 70s today. Beautiful weather. How about that? Go figure that one. I wanted to start off just by giving an update. I got a note on the thoughts, prayers, and celebrations and things. I got a note from Erin, and basically she gave me a lot of information, but let me give you the bottom line. She's had some tests done, and thank goodness she does not have cancer. But on the downside, she does have liver problems and ongoing liver problems and deteriorating. And so I think it's gone from a stage 3 liver problem to a stage 4. So thoughts and prayers for Erin, please. I'd really appreciate it. Hi there, Nyasha. Good to see you as well. Um, Also, I'd like to obviously give my thoughts and prayers to everybody who has been in the eye of that storm and the aftermath of it, the Hurricane Ida. I couldn't help but think, I don't know about the rest of you, boy, the USA really has had its fair share of drama. And can anybody deny that we have got climate change going on now? It is, scary to me. It's just like between forest fires in our part of the world, and the West Coast, and I'm in West Coast Canada, and with the floods and hurricanes and tornadoes that you guys are seeing down. Well, let's be honest, that went across almost, I would think, a third of the USA, and 40 lives lost, over 40 lives lost already, and scary stuff. I wanted to say that I had a wonderful birthday for those of you. Thank you for those of you who sent me birthday wishes and cards and things. I really, really appreciate it. Very, very thoughtful of you. I was absolutely spoiled in terms of cards, and I got them from people I didn't expect and so forth. So thank you very much. And I haven't been to the post box, but I will be going to the post box this week to see if there's anything in there that I missed. So I know that we've got Jeannie's birthday coming up on the 8th, and we know Beth's husband Charles has a birthday on the 11th. And I think, isn't that Leah's birthday as well? Not little Leah, but Leah in Nevada. I think it's her birthday on 9/11 as well. So if anybody else has got a birthday coming up this week, please let us know, because it's missing off the database. I wanted to give thoughts and prayers for Bernice, who has been going through a lot of stress recently. And if you can believe it, now her locker was broken into. And luckily, I checked with her, but luckily she did have insurance. But that feeling of having been violated when somebody breaks in and steals your stuff. And of course, for both Jeannie and myself, who went through fire and lost a great deal, I lost a great deal, but Jeannie lost everything. Starting again is a difficult process and requires, a lot of mind management to be able to go, it is what it is. Crying about it is not going to change it. It's time to just get over it and move on. It's a very difficult thing to do, as we know. Big thanks, as usual, to Lynn, our viewer, that is very, very quiet, but has been doing thumbnails for us, which I love. They always make me laugh. I thought I'd let you know, and if you're interested, I'll show you this evening, but part of my unboxing, did any of you have any fun unboxings this week? I got these little lip gloss containers, and I have started making my own lip gloss. And if any of you are interested on how I do it, let me know, and I'll include it in this evening's broadcast. But that was great fun for me. I've been really looking forward to doing that. And then I did my massive, when I say massive, I did a major restock of hi, Transparent. Good to see you. Welcome. It's always delightful to have a guy. We do actually have some guys that pop in here, so that's great. I got bulk toilet paper, so I think I've got enough to keep me going for a season at the moment, which is wonderful. And the other thing I wanted to say, what did I do with it here? Hold on one second. Don't you hate it when you especially put something down? There we go. So you can talk about it. For those of you who write a lot of lists, you know who you are. Have you seen these erasable pens? I want to tell you, what I love about it is you can write all the things you need to do down the left-hand side of a page, and then every day you can literally erase what you wanted to do yesterday and put in today's thing. It saves an awful lot of writing. And so I just wanted to remind you there is such a thing as erasable ink, and it's really useful for people who are big list makers, as I am. People who take advantage of others are always the ones who play the victim. They are unaware or claim to forget. They have excuses for everything. They put you in a situation that you have to work on their behalf. How many of you have felt that? And so I thought what we do is to sort of talk about how can we tell if somebody is taking advantage, and then we'll talk about a case study that happened and some of the things that I suggested about it. Oh, that's interesting. Jodie's saying she unboxed a lovely peppermint face scrub with the turquoise crystals. I'm loving how it makes my face feel like butter. Yay! Jodie, I know you will appreciate this. I was busy doing something with a bottle of concealer, and I managed to drop the glass bottle on the floor in my bathroom, and that was the end of that. And I want to tell you, concealer is particularly difficult to get off floors and paintwork. I was feeling pretty stupid when I did that. So here are the things to watch out for. If you think that somebody, by the way, do any of you get a feeling that you get when somebody actually is taking advantage of you? I find that I get a sort of funny feeling in my gut, or it's actually in my mind, but it feels like it's in my gut, and it's like almost a resentment starts up, and I'm going, why am I feeling resentful? And then I look at it and I go, oh yes, the reason is because I am being taken advantage of, and I don't like that. And the funny thing is, it comes out in resentment for me, and I don't know what the rest of you get. But let me know if you get a particular feeling when somebody's taking advantage of you, other than the obvious ones, which we'll talk about in a second. Have you noticed that people who take advantage of you are also people that rarely listen to you? But they always want to spend hours with you listening to them. Have you noticed that? It's not like a 50-50 conversation. It's just like, this is it. And if you try to tell them something, boom, they go, it's all about me. I think that would be the thing. It's all about me, right? That's how they live their life. How many of you have met them and they constantly ask you to do favors for them and yet do very little to help you in return? I think it's pretty obvious that these are the same people that you probably don't hear from a lot necessarily, but whenever you do, it's if I don't know about you, but I get that telephone call from somebody I haven't heard of for a very long time, and then I think, yeah, I wonder what they want, because if they're phoning you, they must want something, because why? They haven't cared about you for the rest of the time, and it's just like, oh yeah, there it is, yeah. So you only hear from them when they want some help. And have you noticed when you need help, they're not there? They always have an excuse. They probably also expect you to pay for things. Interesting. Transparent saying yes. Sounds familiar. The me culture. Yeah. And I think it's getting more evident with the me culture. It's a good point, Transparent. Thank you. How about the ones that, I don't know if you've ever had this. I certainly have in my time. People who borrow money but never return it. I had a situation in my life where somebody was constantly, borrowed money from me, and everybody has I don't know about you guys, but everybody gets into real trouble every now and then. And so I helped this person out of trouble. But notice that over the next few years, I never did see any of that money back, even though they recovered. And then they got into trouble again and came back. Well, the bank, according to Sal, apparently. And what I did was I actually gave them the money. And you know what I said? I said, don't come back, ever. And they said, what are you talking about? And I said, I gave you money before. You didn't pay back $1 of it. And if you'd paid me back $1 a month, I would have been more than happy. But I am giving you some money, not as much as before, but some money to help you in this bind. But please don't ever come back, because you are a user. And I don't like that. So do you understand that part of me that is a giver? I needed to give because that's who I am. But boy, did I cut that back the second time, big time. And they always have excuses why they can't pay you back. Have you noticed that? Yeah, it's just like, and I'm going, I really don't care. You didn't try. All right, so transparency, I would only, do this if it were family related. Well, I've got news for you, transparent, that, I've got friends that are closer to me than my family, and therefore there are friends that I would lend money to if I thought they needed it. And I've also learned that sometimes if you're going to do it, better to give them vouchers for the local supermarket. You know what I mean? Then the money is being spent for the right reason. They're not using it for something else that you don't know about. And the other thing is that these people very rarely care about your personal life. And how many of you related to at least one of those things, that you could think of somebody who had done that to you? And my big warning here, because you know me, I like to turn the mirror. Now that we know all of those things, let me go back through the list. Have you ever, and you don't have to own this, but have you ever listened to somebody far less than they listen to you? I have. Have you ever had somebody that you always asking favors of, but you weren't there for them where they needed help? I don't think I can say that. How about, have you expected people to pay for you at any time? And if so, then be aware. Have you ever borrowed money and not returned it? The other thing I missed out here is they constantly lie to you. I've left that one out. But the question is, have you been somebody who lied to other people? And if we're turning the mirror, have you had excuses why you couldn't pay somebody back, even $1 a month? You see, and have you not shown interest in somebody else's personal life? Or do you just momentarily touch on it so you can get back to me? It's about me, it's all about me. I've got that T-shirt. It actually says it's all about Sal. So here's what happened. And I want you to sort of think about this. This came up as a viewer question. I'm just waiting because some people are beginning to answer on the questions. Yeah, I think as you turn the mirror and ask yourself those questions, I'm a great believer that everything that we touch on every week, I like to turn it around and make sure that we double check, hey, am I that person? Because sometimes we don't realize that we have become it for some reason. So just be careful. If anybody's got a specific question they want me to talk about for the week, please let us know so that we can add it to the list. And if you allow people to make withdrawals more than deposits in your life, you will be out of balance and in the negative. Know when it's time to close that account. Now, I know some of you have done that. I know some of you have listened over the months and you said, you know something, this relationship is one way and it's my way. Is not working, right? It's her way or the highway, or his way or the highway. And it is very, very difficult to do it. But if you can, there is freedom in that. Actually, Nyasha's talking about a friend that she was close friends with, but somebody had upset her, and she said, she asked if I was on Facebook, and I told her no, although I am. And then she asked if my phone was damaged, and I responded no. And then she said okay, and went on her way. I try not to lie. If if you are on Facebook, she can find that out. I don't know if you've blocked her, but just be aware of that, Nyasha. Try not to lie. What that makes you the same person, right? Okay, so that's honest. Kimmy's saying there was one person that lent her a little money, but they said not to pay her back. So that is a maybe on her side. Think about that. They were kind enough to lend you money. And I don't know, the karma on my side is, even if they tell me not to pay it back, I try to do that. And the reason is because, Kim, it might not happen to you, but it happened to me. Somebody lent me money once when I was in a very bad state, and absolutely insisted that I didn't pay them back. And then 5 years later, they got angry about something else, and they brought that up and said, you didn't even bother to repay the money. And I completely lost it. And I said, 3 times I tried to pay you back, and 3 times you told me not to repay it. I had the money in my hand to repay it, and you told me not to worry about it. And I said, how dare you bring that back now? And by the way, I severed my relationship with that person, because that is not somebody I want to have as a close friend. All right, transparent is saying, I have lied to other people to protect myself and others. It's a white lie in English, I think, transparent. I don't know how you pronounce that in Danish. But I think in England, in English, it's called a white lie, but it's still a lie, right? And I work very hard now not to tell lies in my life, because I don't feel good when I do. All right, so here was the question that one of the viewers asked me. What do you do when somebody has overstayed their welcome? Now, what happened was that the viewer concerned had a family member that was having a tough time, and so they took them in for a while. And what was going to happen was that family member was, given housing and food, everything, while they looked for somewhere else to live. Okay, Kimmy's saying, I have wanted to pay them back. So the person that she borrowed money from. So Kimmy, don't want to either pay them back or let it go. All right. But my attitude is this: you'll be surprised how that can come back and bite you one day. When they're angry at you about something else, that will be brought up. That's what I've discovered. Anyway, to go back to the story, they were given food and shelter at a time of need, but the time of need went into weeks and months. And then, to the horror, they found out that she had done nothing about trying to get housing. Nothing. She'd been lying to them all along that she was doing that. Now, what I want you to do is just feel, how would you feel if you took in a family member who was having a hard time, or even a good friend who was having a hard time, and they said, it's just until I find somewhere else to live, and then found out, a couple of months later that they had done nothing to even try. In other words, they just took the free ride. And had your food, thank you very much. Probably did nothing to help you around the house. That's what I found from my experience. But just basically took and didn't give anything. So think about that, all right? How do you feel when somebody does that to you? And my sense when I got the question from a viewer was that you probably felt angry, that you probably felt betrayed at some level, that you probably felt sadness at some level. That was a friend, that was somebody you thought better of. And then when I was talking about it with them, what surprised me is that they said, she lied about that. And I said in my response back, is this somebody who has lied to you before? And an instant reply came back and said, yes, regularly. And then I asked the question, what made you think she would tell you the truth now if she is somebody that has constantly lied to you? Right? Somebody who's constantly lied to you, what would make you think that she wasn't lying to you again? And, the answer to that was, that's a good point. So how many of you have done that, where you've got somebody that does not have the self-esteem to tell the truth? And isn't that true? It's like, it's not adult behavior, right? When I say it's not adult behavior, but have you noticed that people that constantly lie to try and protect themselves is something a child does? It's not something that an adult needs to do. Something a child does for fear of what the repercussion might be. So think about that. And so they lied time and time again. And how angry would you be if somebody did that to you? And I said, I'd be pretty resentful. I've been there, so I know the feelings. I'd be pretty angry. And I definitely would feel betrayed. But when I talked this through with this particular viewer, I said, when you took her in, was there a deadline at all? We'll be happy to look after you, but, just for a month or just for 2 months. And I need you to know that that's solid. By this date, you will need to go. This is not a never-ending invitation. And I want you to think about that. That it is important that you give them an exit date. Because if you don't, you will get this happening to you. And the other thing is, keep reminding them that that exit date is getting closer. Just want to tell you, we've only got 4 weeks left until the exit date. So just want to give you another reminder. And, it's really important. And they will fight it. They will fight and manipulate and do whatever they can to get you to extend that. But I've also said, when you do this to somebody, I would discuss the exit date and then also put it in writing and have them sign it, that they know that that is the date. You see, you will find that they don't take advantage as much when you do that. All right. And some of them will object to that. But what you are doing is saying, this is not a never-ending offer. This is until you get your feet back on the ground, and you need to get your feet back on the ground in a hurry, right? You don't give them lots of time to suck you and your budget dry. Very important. And the person that uh, did it to me more than once. The first time I went, okay, fine. And guess what? 5 years later, they got into trouble again. And you know me, I took them in again. But when they really messed up the second time, I said, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. So the next time you fall flat in your face because you're not looking after you and your money properly, do me a favor, don't come back to me. Because I've done my bit and you've abused it. It's interesting. Kimmy's saying the person that gave her money gave her a really small amount. Kimmy, that sounds like an excuse as to why you didn't repay it. It doesn't matter whether it's a big amount or a small amount. I would say, think about it and just go, maybe the next time they have a birthday or the next Christmas or whatever, just include the money and just say, hey, I know it's been a while, but I really want you to have this money back. Thank you so much for helping me when I needed it. And then you are clear. You're clear. And that's an important thing to be. How about this one? You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Interesting. Transparent is saying probably gambling or drugs involved mostly. Yeah, that happens a lot. That does happen a lot. It wasn't the case of this particular person, but I do know where it has been the case. I had a coworker at work borrow money for me, and only later did I find out that she was a gambler. And she had not only borrowed from me, but borrowed from quite a few of the staff members as well. And she ultimately got fired for it because she was just systematically going around one person after another and borrowing the rent money so she could gamble. Really. And none of us knew. She was very good at it. Yeah, Kimmy, it doesn't matter that you weren't told to pay them back. You borrow, they lent you money. It's not, it is. Anyway, never mind. I'm not going to keep on about it. You understand what I'm saying. So how many of you have had that feeling that, you need to do so much to try and support somebody else when really they're not bothering to support themselves in any way? And they've always fight it. If you tell them the truth on that, they will fight it. They it was just like, no. And I go, okay, fine. I'm not going to argue with you. If you can't see that you are using, then that's the thing. So have any of you had somebody who used you? And what did you do about it? Now, I want to give you a really nice follow-up on the conversation. And because what I said was, if you haven't done it before, you need to put a boundary down right now. You need to tell this person you are beginning to resent the fact that they have not done what they said they were going to do. And I said, you need to give them a deadline. Do you know the most amazing thing was they were gone within 24 hours. Why? They got into a snit. You see, they were, I think in psychology, they say it's when you've been seen. All right. You've been seen to be telling lies. You've been seen to not keeping your word. And people get very uncomfortable with that. And she was gone within 24 hours. And I did ask, where did she go? I mean, she hadn't been able to go anywhere for this length of time. Where did she suddenly go? And I believe the answer was, I think she went to a local motel. Well, yeah. So, I totally get it that some of us are really kind, generous people, and we think we get caught. The truth is, if you turn the mirror, it is on us to set the rules. All right? Either you're going to say, this is it. And, and there's part of me that goes, I was taught very early on, and maybe you were too, don't ever lend money that you can't afford to lose. In other words, when you lend money, don't expect it back. And be pleasantly surprised if it comes back. And definitely, if you have said, as Kimmy is saying, if you have said to somebody, you don't have to pay me back, mean it. Yeah, Jody's saying, wow, from months of taking advantage of that viewer to being gone in 24 hours. Can you imagine the emotions going on there? On both sides, I would think, Jody. I am certain that there's a lot of anger from the abuser who was taking advantage, and I do think that's abusive, but also from the person that put down the boundary. Yeah, I agree with you. I had a feeling of absolute shame this week. It was really funny. I don't know if any of you had any feelings of that. I made an appointment with my friend Marnie to catch up with her because we haven't talked for a while. And, she's had things going on in her life, and that's fine. And we decided that we would, have a Zoom meeting on Tuesday, except it was the day after my birthday, wasn't it? When was my birthday? I think it was. I've got to see when my birthday was. I think it was on Monday. Come on. Yep. So, it was my birthday on Monday. And so it was Tuesday. Now, I had a great fun birthday. And I'll talk about that. But, I was so tired on Tuesday that, in the morning, I confirmed the fact that we were going to be chatting at 7:30 that night, and then slept straight through it. I was busy doing something, and I fell asleep. And to my horror, I woke up to find a note saying, I hope you're all right. And I just had to say, hey, I am so sorry. I just fell fast asleep. I felt so ashamed of that for some reason. But luckily, she's a really good friend. And I must admit that I have not done that to her very often. Just like, I had some fear and some concern this week. Any of you have anything? If so, start typing. I am at the stage now where I'm starting to need to pay for some of the things that I had done over and above the insurance. And that's quite a lot of money. It's added up to more than I thought it would, but it is what it is. And I need to put on my big girl pants and just pay the debt. You know what I mean? There's part of me that doesn't, that wants to delay it and whatever. Truth is, I've got to pay it. So I'm going to start doing that next week. But I wonder if any of you can understand that feeling. It's just like, I got the new shower. It's time to pay for it. I was quite horrified, quite honestly. I had a feeling of absolute disbelief was my feeling when I was told the reason I haven't got bathroom lights is I was meant to buy them. It's the first I heard. Yeah, 5 months later, I find out I was meant to buy the bathroom lights. Not amused. Just like, really? You waited 5 months to tell me that. Yeah. So the other thing was I have, I have a problem in my spare bedroom where they didn't finish one part of it properly at all. And, I realized that they're not going to do it. So I literally bought the spackle and everything, and I've started patching up where it needs to be patched up and fixing it up. Because until it's fixed up, I can't build the unit I want to put in there and then have it cleaned up and tidied. So I have this new habit where any major project like that, I just do 10 minutes a day. It's all I have to do. Sometimes I end up doing more, but it's just like, have you done your 10 minutes on it a day? And I've now got the walls all sanded down. I've got the spackle on it and sanded down. There was a quarter inch, no, about an eighth of an inch gap between two bits of drywall that apparently had been there originally. And so when they painted, they just painted across it. They didn't even go inside it. It was just like, really? And the reason I didn't know it was because there was what do you call it? A closet unit in there that covered it up. And I just went, I've had enough of this. I bought the spackle and I filled the hole all the way down and sanded it. And now I'm beginning to feel back in control there, which I'm very pleased with. Interesting. Kim is saying, I need to change my tub for a shower. It will be easier. The other thing is, Kimmy, have you considered maybe getting one of those sit-on benches that you can sit on, swing over to the bathtub, and then have a grab handle, pull yourself up and shower? The reason I say that is sometimes that is cheaper to do than putting in a new shower, unless you've got a lot of money. And you can even have a grab handle that you can put on the side of the bathtub, which isn't that expensive, quite honestly. But, one of those seats that you sit on that will swing you across. So I thought about doing that in my spare bathroom because you can get a fancy one that will swing you across and then drop you into the water if you wanted to, and then come back up again. So just so you know, those options are there. Yeah, Jodie's saying she can understand my fear about paying the piper. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It ended up, and I knew it was going to be quite a bit of money, but it's quite a bit above that, and it is what it is. My new, I think I told you about the problem I had with my deck because I'm trying to build a nursery there that is acceptable to the community here. And I've decided, and I'm starting to now buy the bits for it, that I'm going to grow my nursery in hanging baskets. In other words, other people have got hanging baskets of flowers, and I'm going to have hanging baskets of seedlings and tomatoes coming down, and my beans and my peas and stuff. And I am not 100% sure what I'm going to do for the winter months, but I will make a plan. I'm thinking about encasing them with some plastic around them, maybe a dowel or two that keeps plastic so the really cold air doesn't get to them. And it being high up there on my patio deck, which is covered, they're going to get protection to some degree. But I was thinking I might do an experiment on that to see if I can protect them over the winter and how many of them actually survive. I obviously will continue my indoor garden here, which is something that I, as this time last year, I was hoping to be able to grow stuff that I could sort of be self-sufficient to some degree anyway during the year. And last week I was showing you my cabbage that I've grown from the stub that I had at the bottom of it, and I'm still adding that to various things. But also, this is the little stub I showed you last week. Can you see how the leaves are already growing? And all I have done is put it on a little bit of sponge, and the roots are going really beautifully now. But all I do is just press it down so the sponge takes up the water. But and it's really useful, as I said, for adding to, I was busy cooking some pork yesterday, and I just threw in, a leaf of spinach and a couple of bits of cabbage and things like that. Yeah, that's true. Kimmy's saying we were getting things little by little for a couple of years for the bathroom. It needs to be fixed. I think, that is the clever way to do it, right? And most things we want them fixed immediately, Kim. But, I agree with you. I'm doing the same thing. My guest bathroom has a really cruddy looking area at the bottom. And, it's been on my list of things I want to do. And this week I bought the um, tape. Hang on, hang on. And this is the whole thing about, what I've said to you is do everything one step at a time, and you'll be amazed how far you get. And so this has been on my list for a long time. And here is the tape, if I can undo it, so you can see. And I bought pretty wide tape. And what you do is you just peel off the back of it. Yeah. It's like silicone tape. Like that. You just peel off the back and then it bends. It has a bendy area there. So now I can put it all along the bottom and it'll look a lot neater. So well done, Kimmy. It's a great thing. And as you say, just one step at a time is the way to go. And I know Jodie's been doing that with her bathroom, and I'm very proud of her for what she's been doing. And she was telling me she recently scored a really nice vanity on Facebook, I think. So, and it's like if you're on a mission, you'll be amazed how the things you need come up. So what I've done with go back to the nursery, I've now ordered up some more hanging baskets. And what I also notice is that in the winter, as the heat from the house goes out to the deck and up onto the metal roof of my covering for my deck, it starts to condensate. So it starts to drip. And I'm going, if I'm clever, I'll find out where it drips and put those baskets right underneath it. This is called a self-watering system. Yeah. Jodie's saying, I'm so happy with that vanity. It was just $25 and looks like a million times better. Yeah, I thought it looked like a brand new unit. It looked really pretty. Nasha's asking what tape is that? It's like silicone tape. I don't know how, it's rubberized. It's a rubberized tape that I want to put at the bottom where my bathtub meets the tile. The grout and everything there is old, and I could fill it all up and try and silicone it, but I'm not good at silicone. So this is why I bought the tape. I'll let you know how it goes. It might not be perfect, but at least I'm ready to take that next step. And how about this for a quote, people? Never take advantage of the person who does the most for you. I find that I have, as you know, a really delightful neighbor who goes out of her way to be supportive and do things for me, and has done all through the fire and everything else. And but it's difficult to give back to her in some ways, all right? And so what I've started to do is I've just started to every now and then give her a little present and just keep thanking her for what she's done to support me. You don't have to do that. Yes, I know that. And I tell her that. Yeah, I know I don't. But I actually do, because that's who I am. And I don't want you to forget how much I appreciate it. And I want to tell you, for my birthday, she invited all the neighbors she knows I like and held a birthday party for me. We had Some people brought snacks and things, and we all sat out, and we had a really fun afternoon. I think it started about 3 and it went on until I think I got cold at about 7:30. And it was just like it was just like, wow, that was not what I expected. And there was a lot of wine that came as well. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be a tea party. There was some punch going on, but it was just like, yeah, then bottles of wine started appearing. So it was, and I imbibed. What the heck? Mm. So it was a fun time. And I got some really nice cards. I think I've got more cards than I've had in a long time. And they're all from the locals. And then Betty Ann's daughter, who lives on Vancouver Island, she sent me a birthday card. Can you believe that? I was just so touched. It was just like, wow, that's amazing. So it was a fun birthday. I enjoyed it. All right, bye-bye for now, Jeannie. Sorry you're having troubles with your phone. So, yes, Jody and Kimmy are talking about her vanity that she got on Facebook, and Kimmy was saying that she also looks up on Facebook and on yard sales and things. I think as money gets more and more, as our ability to spend stuff is less, it's really important. By the way, it's one of the reasons that I'm now looking at things like making my own lip gloss, right? Is because it's not a big saving, but guess what? It's another saving. Now, I invested on buying the stuff, and I'll talk more about that this evening. But the thing is, the bits that I bought will last. And as you probably know, it's just like, hey, I can do this. And now that I know how to do it, it's going to save me a lot of money in the long run. I wanted to talk a little bit, as I normally do, about your feelings about what's been in the news. What did you learn, if anything, from Hurricane Ida? Isn't it amazing that it hit exactly 16 years to the day after Katrina? And I don't know about the rest of you, but I was just like, I hope that those levees that they built hold, and they did, which was wonderful. But I wondered whether any of you bothered to check whether you are in a floodplain or how close you are to a floodplain. Have any of you done that? And that's a plain, 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 that sort of plain. And, it was amazing because what I decided to do was just out of interest, because, this is a new to me home. I've only been in it off and on for a year and a half now. And I had a feeling that I did check it initially, but I thought, I think I want to check it again. And what I saw was that they had done projections for the next 5, 10, 25, 50, 100 years type floodplain. And so that was pretty interesting to me. I also wonder whether any of you have thought, if you are on anywhere close to a floodplain, do you keep your emergency stuff on the second floor, or have you got it down in the basement? Because, that's something else that you may want to think about. The first place that's going to get flooded is your basement, if you're lucky enough to have one. And then, the second place it's going to hit your ground floor and then into the basement. But, think about that. Where are you going to keep your emergency supplies? And as usual, do you have emergency water at all times, just in case? Because I don't think that these natural disasters are going to get any less. I think they're going to get more. Climate warming is now, it is now upon us. Who ever thought that where I live in Canada, West Coast Canada, it was ever going to be hotter than Dubai. It was just like, really, and it was. So I look at it, and by the way, if you are going to look up the floodplain thing, I just literally typed in where is the floodplain for, and I just typed in the name of my city. And so just literally the words floodplain and the name of your city would be enough, so that you can see where it is. It's quite interesting to see. And I was pleased to see. Now, obviously, my house is sort of off the ground anyway, to some degree. I have crawl space underneath, so that also helps. But boys, some of that water, when you saw what happened in New York, it's just in New Jersey again. This is not once in a lifetime anymore. That's twice in the last decade that New Jersey has been hit like that. So scary stuff, people. And also, to think about it, because what is it doing to house values? Wow. Kimmy's saying it said I wasn't in a floodplain and it flooded half a block from my house. Did it really, Kimmy? This last one? Ida? That is scary. Half a block. Boy, you were saved on that one. So Jody's saying that she has emergency water. How often do you change it, Jody, as a matter of interest? I'm trying to make sure, that again, that my emergency food isn't at, it's higher up rather than, at ground level. So I'm trying to think more strategically now. Oh, so you use it up and then just keep replacing it. So what have you got it in gallon jugs, or that's actually quite clever. So it's constantly being replaced. Yeah, I know that my neighbor here, I think some of you know that when we have a power outage here where I live, we also have a water outage because we're on a well. So if the power goes, we also lose the ability to have water. Wow, you've got 12 2.5 gallon jugs. That is awesome. Yes, so for those of you who want to start doing it, next time you empty one of these, clean it out and fill it up with fresh water. And I actually have found a new trick, which is I actually store them in my guest bath. I'm lucky enough to have a guest bathroom. I put them in the bathtub in my guest bathroom, so I can't see them. They're not looking ugly anywhere. If I have a guest coming, the first thing I do is I go in there and take them out and put them somewhere else. But that's where I keep them. And it's just like if the jug leaks or something, it's already in a bathtub, so that works. And so, Jody, you're using that water for what? You say that you keep using it and replenishing it. So, are you using it as drinking water, or how do you do that? Or do you use it to water plants, or you know? But that's interesting that you do it that way. I think I might start doing that so that I know that it is just a few. You just use it as your drinking water. Okay. Excellent. So I have a water filter that is outside my fridge, and that holds, I think, I'd say about 4 gallons, I think, 3 or 4 anyway. And I keep that, I make sure now that I've constantly got that full for that reason. And then I've got the water for other things in the bathtub. And then, if you're lucky enough to be able to do this, I also have a rain barrel. And that water I use for, if for watering, if there's a power failure or something. So that's a good one. I wanted to show you something else. This is called, why didn't I think of this before? How many of you have got one of these? Have I, Nasha? How many of you have got one of these at home? I bought a second one. Actually, it's the old one of this. And I use it in my shower. I use it for a lot of things in my shower. I can't believe that I lived so long and didn't think of this before. Number one, it's really nice for cleaning the shower while I'm showering, right? Because it's got a mixture of soap and I also put a little bit of, what do you call it? Not baking powder, the other powder. Jody will let me know what it is I'm trying to think of. Anyway, but the other thing is this. I use it to baking soda. Thank you very much. So I put a little bit of that for the one that's in the shower because that's really good for cleaning shower doors. However, it's great, if you think about it, for scrubbing, defoliating your legs, right? I love it. Why didn't I think of this before? So you can just, I just literally wash my legs with this, knowing that I'm just getting rid of dead skin. It's really useful for cleaning your toes. It's just like I thought, why on earth didn't I think of that before? So, you know me, if I find it useful, then the chances are maybe you will as well. But it's just like so simple and not a big expense. And as I said, I used the old one. Yeah, I was going to throw it away, and you know me, I don't do that well. I'm thinking, where else could I use this? And I went, hey, what about in my bath, my shower? Works like a charm. How long can you keep the water? Are you talking the fresh drinking water? Right. I would suggest probably longer than you think you can. Jody's probably researching that while we chat about it, Kimmy. This is about. My sense is it's probably a good idea to sort of change it every week. But if you are without water and you've got water in a sealed container and it's been there for longer than a week, I'm pretty sure you'll find out that, some water is better than no water. The other thing is that even if you think it might have been there for too long, at least you can boil it, but you've got the water. And that's the important thing. My problem with my rain barrel is that I'm inclined to throw washing powder up onto the roof of my shed to clean the moss off. And so my rain barrel has quite a bit of detergent in it. Yeah, it's a good idea to not forget those things, especially, be prepared for the fall. All right. As you know, as I said, I'm beginning to buy my fall clothes now. By the way, Jody, I just wanted to tell you this. You know that I've been saying that I've been dropping about half an inch a week under my new eating plan. And my problem was that I bought my usual size, and look at this. And I could have bought one size down on this. All right, there she goes. Jody's at it again. She's so good at our admin, Jody, right? So here we go. Unopened and stored properly, uncarbonated water will last indefinitely. Manufacturers will print a 2-year expiry date, but it will last indefinitely. What about if I fill it up? I wonder if I just fill it up myself. If I've got, yeah, how long will it last if you're just getting it from your tap? Now, some of you have got chlorinated water, in which case yours are probably, I don't know if that makes a difference. Yeah. All right, we'll find out, Kimmy. So I want to just tell you again that I am not being funny. I am literally dropping about half an inch a week at the moment. Tap water, you can have it in those containers for 6 months and not worry. That is awesome, Jody. Thank you. All right, so and find somewhere to keep. How much water would we need for? I would probably say try and have enough water for at least 4 or 5 days. I would say 4 or 5 days at the worst, all right? And I look at it and I go, I also am beginning to stock up on carbonated, my Coke Zero. Why? Because if something happened, I can drink Coke Zero if necessary, if I need to. As I find out that I occasionally will just have one because I feel like eating and I go, no, rather have a Coke Zero. And, I try not to have more than one a day, but, it's just like 6 months, you can keep wet water 6 months if it's tap water. That's amazing. Jody's saying, I'm melting. You look amazing. Well, Jody, I'm beginning to realize that I'm almost, if I push out, but I'm almost getting this has got a long way to go. We know that, but I looked very pregnant for a long time, and it's beginning to drop. And I've got to say, Jody, it is because of that whole thing that I discovered about that Anderson Cooper does. All right, which is know what you're going to eat every day and keep eating it. I know that I can have one slice. And I mean, this is the peculiar thing, right? I know I can have a slice of bread for breakfast with peanut butter. I know that every lunchtime I can have, a salad, or I can have an omelet, for example. I know that whatever time, I don't start eating until mid-afternoon, quite honestly, but mind you, I don't get up until late. But, I know for an afternoon snack, I can eat fruit. I know that I allow myself, where are they? Oh, I've used them up. I know I allow myself 5 crackers every day. I allow myself, an apple and an orange every day. And I've got this sort of, I allow myself yogurt every day. I also allow myself either frozen yogurt or sometimes even ice cream. And I'm still losing half a pound a week at the moment. Why? Because, and the size of my meals. Okay, I realize this is a big thing. Right? My evening meal used to take a plateful. You know what I mean? A real normal plate. And then I noticed that I came down to my evening meal would fit on sort of this size plate. But now I noticed last night that my evening meal would have managed to fit on here. And I literally, I had potato with my meal last night, but It was this size. But I still, because it came out of my garden, right? So I literally, um, I don't know. It's really strange how it has made a difference. So I thought I would share that with you so that you can think about that. And Jody, I know that you were saying that, for those of you who don't know, Jody had the um, gastric bypass surgery, and she lost a whole ton of weight very quickly. But then she started to have problems with her lymphoderma again. It's when she starts to swell up. And Jody, I think you said you put back 8 pounds with that, and now you've managed to take 4 off again. Did I get that right? Jody's saying that she knew that my hard work was going to pay off. Jody, it hasn't been hard work. It's been the mentality to keep to the routine. And you know what made a tremendous difference to me? Was that when I feel hungry now, I will take a cup of whole milk and blend it with an equal amount of ice and create a sort of a milk smoothie. And it really, has made quite a difference. Kimmy's saying I had to go back and get rid of some more food because of my kidneys. Yeah, you also have some kidney issues. So I think a lot of us probably do, and we don't even realize it. So what have you had to let go of this time, Kimmy? And I assure you that Jody was telling me that, while she is beginning, she started off with a stomach the size of a grape tomato. And, she's now slowly adding to it, to the food that she can eat. But what was it you had the other day that just your was it spaghetti squash? Your stomach said, no, thank you. I'm not ready for that yet. There must be such an experiment. It's like, the help that you gave me when I became pre-diabetic. It's amazing how you have to find out what works and what doesn't. All right, so Kimmy, you're saying I had to look for foods that cause kidney problems. Which foods do cause kidney problems? Maybe you could share that information with us. All right, so Jody's saying to me that my dedication to my exercise, my exercise dedication and consistency, that's work. Yeah, I must admit that I am pretty pleased that I'm still averaging about 47 to 50,000 steps a week. And quite honestly, it's not necessarily going out and exercising. When I go down to the mailbox, I try to do the loop. I take the longer route if I can. But I know that the rains are coming any minute now. And so I've got my WII machine geared up, ready to go again, because that really helped me so much last winter. Ah. Now, Jody's saying to Kimmy, you can do it, Kimmy. Find what you can have. Yeah, that's the trick, right? Don't concentrate on what you can't have. Find out what you can and have the most and make the most of it. And if you need help, we're here to support you. Absolutely. And and Jody was saying that what she tried to have was spaghetti and chicken salad. The spaghetti squash, was it? And chicken salad, right? Or was the chicken salad chicken with spaghetti squash? I want to make sure I understand it. So I wonder what would have caused that. But you understand what I'm saying here, Jody, that just over time now, I have gone from eating an evening meal of this size to an evening meal of this size. And literally last night, I had a slice of pork, and the rest of the plate was cut up vegetables. And within the cut up vegetables, was a potato. So it's working because it's not that I can't have anything. You see, when I eat that, that means I can have dessert. See, I look at it that, oh, I was really bad about dessert yesterday, now that I think about it. What did I have? Raspberries and English custard. Very good. And then I didn't have the ice cream last night. And I am now, I think some of you know this. Where's my pen? I set this goal a year ago to be at this level. And if you remember, I just got to it when we had the fire. And then with the fire, obviously, and the pandemic, I started to comfort eat. And now I've come all the way back down again. And I have had, I think it's 2 or 3 weigh-ins now that are under this. So I think I am now ready to set a new goal. I didn't want to reset this goal until I knew I could. I probably won't reset it until I know I can keep below it for a month. And then I will just reset it. By the way, when you reset your weight goals, how much do you reset it by? And I probably will just go for 5 pounds. Jodie's saying that she had half a cup of spaghetti, real spaghetti with meatballs last night for dinner, and it was fine, tasted heavenly. That's the other thing I found, Jodie, and I really thank you for all that you've taught me, because it's like I have pasta every week, and happily so, even though I'm pre-diabetic. But again, it is about how much, all right? Whereas in the old days, I would have, enough to feed an army. Now I have that much less, and it is amazing. And I thoroughly enjoy it. And as a lot of you know, I found out that cooking in a mason jar is a really good idea if you're trying to limit the amount you eat. In other words, before I would cook a big amount of mac and cheese. Well, guess how much I ate? Whereas now, this is a big amount of mac and cheese. And if I want more than this, I have to remake it. That's why it works. All right, so now then, how about this quote for you? Surround yourself with people who make you happy, people who make you laugh, people who help you when you're in need, people who would never take advantage of you, people who genuinely care. They're the ones worth keeping in your life. Everyone else is just passing through. Oh, interesting. So Kimmy's saying that you saw 17 foods you should avoid. Can you remember any of them, Kim? And also, I would suggest to all of us, be careful what your source is, because I think an awful lot of the time now on social media, we've got information that maybe isn't coming from the best source, so do be careful. Yeah, and hi, Jenny, good to see you. I'm fine, thank you, honey. And how are you doing, Jenny? Are you cold? I was just saying, I can't believe how cold it's become here in our part of the world, Jenny. Yeah, Jodie's saying the old me would have had enough spaghetti for 3 people. Yes, and it is, you know, I think that is the amazing part. So that's why I know that not only am I seeing it on the scale, not only am I seeing it on the tape measure. I think that's what's amazed me most was that suddenly I keep taking the measurement with my tape measure and I'm going, really? And it's surprising me because it really is, I would say, almost half an inch a week that I'm dropping. And at this rate, I've still got an awful long way to go. But at this rate, I would say if I can keep this up, and that will be my choice, obviously, if I can keep this up, I will be, you know, ahead of where I was a year ago. In fact, I already am. So that's pretty exciting to me. Now, you will also remember, has anybody been practicing the 10-minute do it type um, habits? I've, you know that I wanted to clean up my deck. I'm still doing my 10 minutes a day on the deck. I'm everything's tidy now. Now I'm into updating it. And what I'm doing is I notice that at the moment I've got Amazon boxes under my barbecue on my deck. And what I want to do is to tape some together and then paint it black. And then, because it'll look a whole lot better. So that's my next, little project. So that I've got this mat underneath the. I keep trying to find uses for my Amazon boxes. Have anybody found any good uses for them? I literally am worried about how much we are throwing away, and is it getting recycled? I hope so. But I also noticed that Amazon is starting to not pack things in boxes necessarily quite as much. Um, I'm getting more in packages now rather than in boxes, which is, not a bad thing. But then it's more plastic, and I like the cardboard better than the plastic. I think some of you know that I have a habit now. I started it about 6 months ago, where I do not put my plastic wrap type stuff that in my garbage. I put it in a separate bag because I want to be aware how much of my garbage is just packaging. And I would have to tell you that about 3/4 of my garbage every 2 weeks is from that bag of plastic. It's amazing. All right, Jody is saying, for those of you who might want to improve your kidney health, eating processed meats and any high sodium food like pickles or olives should be avoided. All right, so Jody, high sodium, that's sort of like pretty subjective. So what percentage? I found out, for example, when I'm looking for carbs in something, I just want to see what percentage of it is carbs. And let me just try and think here. All right, so in my Coke Zero, carbs, 0%, right? Let me get some other things. This peanut butter stuff that you recommended, Jody, carbs, 2%. I reckon if it's under 4%, it's pretty good for me. And if it's more than that, which some things are, find out that papadons are only 2% carbs. What have I got here? Chickpeas are only 0. Oh, no, that's cholesterol. Now, here's an interesting thing. Chickpeas are 12% carbs, but Jody will tell me, yeah, but what about the fiber? 32% fiber. So therefore, am I right, Jody? So that's 0 carbs, because the fiber you take it away from the carbs, and you've got a deficit. I think I'm right on that. She'll let me know. Uh, all right, so I'm looking at, interestingly enough, healthy snacks, but when you look at it, 9% carbs. So I don't have these very often. And what I'm going to be doing tonight, is actually making some healthy crackers with leftovers. And I thought some of you might be interested in that, because I realize when you look at it, the price of crackers is crackers. And there's not much in a cracker. You could, and I thought, I could probably save myself about $10 a week just by making my own crackers. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it with you so that we can laugh about it and enjoy it and see how many different versions we can come up with quite easily. Do any of you make your own crackers already? I made some. What did I do with them? Huh, I've got to stop putting things away. But I made some this week, and it was amazing what I made them from, and they are awesome. And I literally just am using up stuff. I'm not buying stuff to put in it. I'm going, what have I got that I need to use up? And I am adding things like vegetables to them. And I'm using, anyway, I'll show you this evening. It's amazing the little things that you can do that all help. And so if I can save, $10 a week, that's $40 a month. That's nearly $500 a year. Am I right on that? Just on crackers. And I know what's in them. And I'm going to know whether it's spiked or not. So, we will have some fun with it. And I'm also starting to make sweet ones, not just, I'm making savory and sweet ones. So just a thought. How are you doing with Get Prepared for Fall, everybody? How many of you feel that did you buy something to wear for this fall? I'm a great believer that as we start moving into the change of season, I always think, do I need new underwear this fall? And if so, now would be the time to start thinking about it and ordering it. I find that just buying a little bit now and then just really helps, all right, so Jody's saying that she has made crackers, low-carb crackers, that were made by microwaving cheese squares until they resembled a Cheez-It. There you go. That's a nice, easy one to do. Maybe we'll try that. I've got some cheese squares in my deep freezer, I think. Or maybe I can just do it with marble cheese. Can I do it with marble cheese sticks? The string ones? I'm pretty sure we would be able to do that. But I'm thinking all sorts of different ones. So we'll see what we can come up with. I must admit that these changes that we have made recently have really started to have impact on me now, and that I can feel it in a lot of different ways. So, and what I'm looking for, um, most of all is snacks that are not going to spike my blood sugar too much. All right, so Jody's saying, I'm decorating for autumn over the weekend. I haven't bought anything for the wardrobe yet. Ah, so you're creative. I had great feeling of achievement. All right, so, and actually I should go and get it so I can show you. Kimmy's saying salt is not good for the kidneys, or red meat. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I don't add, I add salt, quite honestly, I add salt about once a week. I will add salt when I am doing my roast. I try to sort of cook up a roast every week or so, and that's the only time I use salt, really. Okay, let me just get you what I made this week. Hold on. And this goes under, so many different titles of feelings of accomplishment, feelings of joy, frustration, everything. One of my neighbors has their birthday on Halloween, so I made this card that will, got my hair stuck in it too. But when you open it up, what do you think? Is it fun? I was really quite pleased. Now, how did I do that? Literally a couple of minutes every day. The first day I got the colors that I wanted. And then the second day, I think I cut out the Halloween, which is two different layers there. There's a brown layer and a orange one. And then, yeah. So I'm getting better. I'm learning how to create my own designs rather than somebody else's. So, but I did buy the Halloween type cutouts. I didn't buy them. Sorry, I lie. I got the designs and then cut them out. But I just thought that would make a fun birthday card. All right, so clams are not good, lobster is not good, and crab's not good. I am so sorry to hear that. Huh, I mind you, I don't have lobster more than about once or twice a year. Yeah, but you know something, Jody? It took, I actually did the whole thing flat and then I put it in and I scored the lines after it was all done. I thought I was going to ruin it by doing that, and I didn't. So I've learned that I can do that. I did the whole thing flat like this, right? And then I put it through my machine and got it to score the lines every 4 inches, because this is a 12-inch piece of card, and everything was already on that. Yeah, I like the witch coming over the moon as well. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. That was me. So, it's all about doing it in a way that is fun. I'm also still working on a card for Juliana, but that one I need to now bring to the fore because we're getting her birthday's in October. But like everything else, all right, I'm trying to think, what do I need for the fall? It includes what cards do I need to make? And by the way, I used a birthday card this week for one of my neighbors, and so I made another one to replace it. And that's what I'm starting to do, is to just start what I call generic cards. I can use it for anybody. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is to get those. And my machine is working harder and I'm loving it. And I think as we go into the winter, I will do more and more interesting things. How are we doing with Christmas? How are you feeling? Do you feel that you have started it? That I actually hit a roadblock on the Christmas stuff. I've got most of the cards ready. I've got the envelopes. Now I need to get the addresses on the envelopes. I know I've got the postage already because I did that about a month ago. Interesting. Kimmy's saying that for autumn, she'd like to get some thermal underwear. I tell you what I found. Do any of you have problems with your feet getting cold at night? I really, do find that my circulation to my feet is not, obviously at my age, that probably is part of it, but it's not as good as I would like. And I found the answer to it, which was actually fairly simple. I had a blanket, a throw rug that was like shirling on one side. And what I've done is I've put that blanket at in between my sheets. So when I go to bed at night, I put my feet into that shirling rug, just my feet. And boy, does that make a difference. I don't feel cold anymore. And so, yeah, that works for me. The other thing is, Jody, I think I was telling you that I had a problem with, I don't know if I did tell you, but my CPAC mask decided to suddenly, I think the valve went wrong. I knew it was scary and therefore I didn't use it. But I've got a new one yesterday. It arrived and I just want to see how well I slept. Because, that's what I want. Well, that's not working very well, is it? Anyway, so for some reason my watch is not telling me how I slept last night, but we will find out. But it felt like I had a really good night's sleep. So that was good. And also I found out that I think that my sleep apnea is not as problematic as it was, because I was able to sleep for 2 or 3 days without a sleep apnea machine, and I wasn't having problems that I'm aware of anyway. So that's good. Again, think about Christmas. The reason I want you to do that is because I would say if you are sending cards, make sure you leave at least 3 weeks. We used to leave a week. Make sure you leave at least 3 weeks for cards to get there. And if your cards are going overseas, I would say at least 6 weeks. That would be my recommendation. And even that might be a bit tight. I don't know. The other thing is, to my surprise, for those of you who are pretty crafty, literally getting craft paper and making your own envelopes for your homemade cards also is a very cost-effective way of doing it. And the reason is that you can pick up a pack of kids' craft paper for a couple of bucks, and it will last you for quite a few envelopes once you've got the design worked out. And if you don't know how to do that, let me know and I will show you. Actually, maybe one day I should do a broadcast from my cutter. How many of you would be interested in seeing that work? I don't think I've done one from there for a long time. Here's the thing. Money saving. I found a money saving thing this week that surprised me, really surprised me. All right. I normally buy milk 2 liters at a time. I think that's a quart, isn't it? In American. But anyway, this amount. I normally buy this amount. And I occasionally buy the half gallon. Here's what I found out this week. Listen to this. At my store this week, 2 liters was $4.09. All right, Jody, I don't know how much you guys pay for milk these days, but this was close to, this was $4.09. Let's call it $4 straight. Have a guess how much a gallon was. Would you expect a gallon to be about $8, about twice the amount? I did. The gallon was $4.99. $4.99. For 99 cents more, I could buy twice this. And what I've started to do is I've started to buy the gallon and then freeze half of it. All right. So what I will do is I will use, actually, I'm still finishing this one, but and the reason this one's open was because Doug was here. But I start to freeze it in mason jars, and so that I can get the saving, but I don't have it go off. So and all I do is, as I'm finishing this lot, for example, yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, I had some skim milk and it was running out. I used one of these. And so all I did was put a frozen one in my fridge, and now that is ready to use. So absolutely amazing saving. But check it out. And the question is, what are you going to, if you haven't got a freezer, it probably won't be as easy to do. But as I said, it's amazing how a cup of milk with crushed ice makes a meal. And so I've saved a lot just by drinking more milk, quite honestly. How about you guys? What have you found that's you feel good about having saved things? Saved money on something. Any good scores going on this week that I should know about? How about this for a quote? You'll end up really disappointed if you think people will do for you as you do for them. Not everyone has the same heart. I am pretty sure that a lot of you, when you think about being abused by people, realize that for so long in your life, you thought just because you would do that, somebody else would as well. Yeah, right. It takes a while to understand that. Okay, Jody's saying that in New Hampshire, a gallon of milk is $2.54 to $3.98, depending on the brand. Okay, yeah. And what about half a gallon? A quart? I think a quart is half a gallon, right? Or is it 4 quarts to a gallon? Oh, must be 4 quarts to a gallon. That's why it's called a quart, so. Stupid. It's been a long time since I spoke that language. Now, it's interesting, and this is why I'm saying to you, please remember to check the small print on these things, because quite a deal by going up in size. Right, Jody's saying God this week. She got 2 cauliflowers for $4 this week. Yes. And now let's think, Jody, how many things are you going to make with it? All right. Cauliflower cheese, maybe. Cauliflower and broccoli together. That's nice. Cauliflower rice, I'm pretty sure you will do. Cauliflower dip and dip. So, you look at it, there's so many different things that you can do. I've got to tell my phone going, but here's the interesting thing. I'm learning not to answer my phone at the moment. We are due to go into an election, federal election here. They've called an early one, and it's going to be on the, I think, 24th of September. So you know how many calls we are getting. And so I'm not answering my cell phone calls. All right, so Jody is saying gallon of milk is $2.54 and a quart is $1.32. Ha! You see what I'm saying, Jody? It pays you to buy the gallon and even waste it. Do you know what I mean? If you had to, if you don't have enough room in the freezer. It really is that much. I didn't realize. I've been buying the smaller size because I didn't like that it was going off. But I'm going, something? I'm going to freeze it and just drink more of it in smoothies. Oh, how kind of you, Dick. That's very kind of you. Sensei. I don't know a sensei that would be that rude, but um, may you have a happy day. And by the way, Dick, you're welcome to your opinion. Yeah, Jody's saying cauliflower rice and roasted cauliflower with cheese. Yep, exactly. So I don't see that's going to go to waste at all. And it freezes well. I'm surprised how well it will freeze. So the good idea. And I don't know about you guys, but I have found now that I'm really conscious of those little savings. I keep checking before I need this, but yes, can I buy? Remember what you did, Jody? You found that your medication, if you bought a year's worth, was a huge saving. So I'm just trying to make sure I think about that a lot more, just buy the bigger one if I can and get those savings. Awesome. What I like is that we're all sort of on the same path on this because it helps us. I like this quote. It says, "I get a lot of people trying to take advantage of me because of my kindness. I'm either really nice to you or I want to cut off your head." There's no in between. Mike Epps said that. I don't know if any of you relate to that. And this is nice. Your actions are the reflections of your thoughts. I've had a neighbor here that I haven't been very close to. But what I found out was that it was her birthday today. And so I took the time to make a card. And this morning when I got up, I went over and dropped the card off on her doorstep. Why? Because I know what it feels like to have somebody acknowledge your birthday. I had that last week with my neighbor Betty Ann doing all she did. And I thought, the very least I can do is let her know that somebody here cares. She's had a really tough time of it recently. And so it was worth spending the time. Anybody else to get a good feeling because you did something for somebody else? How about this quote? I'd like you to think about this one for a second. It says, We grow a little every time we do not take advantage of somebody's weakness. And that to me is the essence of it all. You know, the fact that you could take advantage, but you don't, is about character. And somebody said, you have to learn how to say no without feeling guilty, setting healthy boundaries, because some people can take advantage of you. My experience is more people than you think will take advantage of you if you are a kind person. That does not mean stop being kind. And in fact, I thought about that to a degree this week, that I pulled up that well known poem that was written. It's attributed to Mother Teresa, but it actually was not written by her. And let me read it to you, because to me, it's something we need to remember. To me, if there's one thing that I think describes how I feel about life, this is it. It is called "Do It Anyway," and it says, "People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. And if you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. And if you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine ones, and some ungenuine enemies, sorry. Succeed anyway. And if you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. And what you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. And if you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten, but do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. And in the final analysis, it was between you and your God. It was never between you and them anyway. And so I know there are some of you that love to do things for your neighbors. You bake for them and you care for them and you do all sorts of wonderful things. And I know that you guys have shown me incredible kindness and love over the years. And I am forever grateful for that. But it is a fact that things don't always go the way we want it to. And that's why we do the broadcast. We do the broadcast because this might not have been your best week, all right? But on the other hand, it may have been somebody else's best week. On the other hand, it might have been somebody's worst week, and we are here to be able to hold their hand. And I don't know about you, but I think that's giving my best anyway. And so I look at each broadcast that we do, and I am so grateful. Jody, I'm so grateful that you are here, doing the admin. For those of you who watch regularly, and I know some of you do it online at the time that we broadcast, but a whole lot of you watch afterwards. And I want to tell you, it is my honor to have you spend that time. And I am glad that it has benefit to you, because obviously you wouldn't do it if you didn't. So I say to you that remember this. People will always take advantage of us if we allow it to happen. What happens is that we need to look at how we allow people. My neighbor Betty Ann always says, we teach people how to treat us. Think about that. We teach people how to treat us. If we don't put down a boundary and go, oh, hang on a second, that doesn't work for me, they will continue to do things. If you are generous to somebody and they never ever are generous back. It's not about keeping score, is it? I don't believe it. It's not about keeping score. It is about, how do you feel? All right. Do you feel this is somebody that it is a pleasure to help out? Or is this somebody where it always feels like you're the one giving and they're just a takers? I think it's really important to know that. Kimmy's saying here that she's noticed that Walmart online prices are getting out of control. In what way? Getting more expensive? Everything is getting more expensive. Just so you know, it's not just Walmart. Or are they getting out of control? Are they rolling back a whole lot? That's sort of out of control. Jody's saying, I'm grateful to you beyond words. And you know something? Both ways, Jody. That works both ways. I don't think that, I'm pretty sure anyway, Jody, I would not have survived the yo-yo of my weight issues, without the support you gave me. And I look at it and I look at what you have taught me about not only how to eat better, but also how to keep my blood sugar under control. When you think about it, it's nearly 2 years since I was diagnosed with pre-diabetic. And I am pretty pleased to know that I have, to a large extent, I'm a little bit higher than I want to be at the moment on my blood glucose, but I know how to get it down if I choose to. I've got nobody to blame but myself. And the reason is I've made some not so healthy choices. Very difficult. I'm not going to buy ice cream anymore. I'm going to buy frozen yogurt. This is called, at least frozen yogurt is better for me. And or I'm going to make my own frozen yogurt, one or the other. So just a quick word of advice here before I go. We're going to have people that are going to take advantage of a lot of things. I think at this time, I think there's going to be a lot of price going up. Why? Because prices are getting more expensive. We have no idea, Kimmy. If you think the prices are out of control now, a lot of it has to do with the price of gas. And now, if you think about it, with what happened with Hurricane Ida, the price of gas is going to get very expensive very soon. And so if you haven't filled up your car this week, I would recommend it. If you have the ability to store gasoline, you might want to get some extra. And so, you look at it and go, there is no way you can have a hurricane go through Louisiana and all that stuff without it affecting transportation. It's going to be months before things get back anywhere near control. So you look at it and go, be prepared for things to get a lot worse. I've been saying, how long have I been saying that? I think I've been warning you that this is going to happen for at least 6 months. At the beginning of the pandemic, I warned you that as we get into this and out of it, everything is going to escalate. And Kimmy, you call it price gouging, but it actually isn't price gouging. You do realize that, right? All right. They have to absorb the cost of shipping. All right. That's not price gouging. A year ago or 2 years ago, the price of gasoline was X. Today, it is X times 2. You know that from filling up your car. So, it's not that they're price gouging. Everybody is paying more for transport. All the things that we need to make things are costing more because they have to be transported. So if I'm making a widget and it takes 3 different components, all 3 of those components are going to cost me more today than they did 6 months ago. Why? They all had to be shipped. And so I don't call that price gouging, Kimmy. Maybe I have a different perspective. I call that reality. And it's not that Amazon is price gouging, or Walmart is. The cost of everything is going up because we have inflation going on as well. That's the whole problem. And the inflation is because everything is now costing more. And it's going to get worse. So it is up to us not to be a victim to it, but just to buy things and make other plans. As I said, simple plan. Make my own lip gloss. Save myself $10 on a lip gloss. Or how much the lip gloss go? I not that much maybe, but but as you will see, if it just makes much more sense to me. Buy twice as much milk and save nearly 100% on the cost of milk. Well, 50% for sure. It's just like it makes sense to me. Let's get smart. Don't let's get angry, and don't let's label people as Kimmy, if you can. And I don't know how to explain that to you, that they're not price gouging. Yes, the supply chains are fragile right now. That is so true. You're lucky to be able to get anything. I can't get my favorite. I am a Brit that grew up on Marmite. I can't get Marmite at the moment unless I want to get it out of England. And if I get it out of England, it's ridiculous. Hang on. I saw somewhere that to buy this size was going to cost me $36 if I brought it in from England. And it's like, I like it, but I'm not sure. Luckily, I've still got a couple in my area to spare, but it's just like, I'm going to need to find a different way to buy it. And it's just, it's not that they're price gouging. It is just that everything's going to be in short supply, or if it is in supply, it's going to cost more because of the transportation aspect. But Kimmy, I know how difficult it is. And I know we all feel that stress. So I love you all. And I hope that today we've given you some sort of clues and some new tools on what you can do if you think somebody is taking advantage of you. And the answer is, they are taking advantage of you because you have allowed it. Please don't blame them for the fact you've allowed them to take advantage. You see, if we stop them at the get-go and make sure that they know not to take advantage of us, then they don't. Remember what Betty Ann said, right? We teach people how to treat us. And we teach them by not stopping them. Remember we had that conversation when we were talking about labeling. People start to label, you stop them immediately, say, stop right there. You just labeled me, and I don't appreciate that. This is DearMamaSal saying, the more aware we become, the easier it's going to get. Look after one another, but most of all, please, please, please remember to look after yourself. And remember, as Kimmy said, she thought she was way away from any flood zone. Apparently not as far as she thought. It came within half a block of her house. I think that's an incredible story, Kim. This is DearMamaSal saying, be safe, be careful, and we'll see you tonight. Bye-bye for now.